What's good? We're just fans. Just want to make a quick video here. But meaning to make this, so this one is about 3-and-D wings. I think the Washington Wizards should target in free agency. Now, I know the big news is the Bradley Beal rumors. And remember, they're just rumors. Nothing is 100% set in stone right now. So if you look at Twitter, Bradley Beal did like a tweet where it said, "Stop the cap," from M Grads on Twitter. They are related. This guy, I think they're cousins or something. I'm not 100% sure, but Bradley Beal did like that tweet. I think the guy was implying that there's a lot of capping. Capping means lying. It means not telling the truth. So, and there's been a lot of rumors going on about Bradley Beal thinking about requesting a trade. So I guess Bradley Beal is saying that the rumors are false. Also, there was a tweet by Quentin Mayo saying that the team needs to add better players and don't be scared to go on the luxury tax. And Kamia Adams Bill like that tweet as well. So basically that points me to saying that Bradley Beal is leaning towards staying, from reading the tea leaves and reading in between the lines, looking at those tweets and stuff like that. This is what we got to do in 2021. You got to get on Twitter and see what players are liking and what they tweet and stuff like that. But from those tweets and from the likes, that shows me that the rumors are not 100% true right now. So, but time will tell. The draft is on Thursday. Free agency starts on Monday, today, a week from today. So I'm trying to get these videos in, talking about free agency. It's coming so fast, so quickly. So let's get to it. Let's look at the cap space for the Washington Wizards. Russell Westbrook's going to make $44 million this upcoming season. Bradley Beal's going to make $34 million, and Davis Bertans is going to make $16 million. So a lot of cap space is tied up right there. So 44 plus 34, what is that, like $97? And then plus 16 is like 107. I'm really bad at math. So, but basically that's a lot of money tied up to just 3 players on the Washington Wizards. And our ceiling really is like a 5th or 4th seed. So to have that much money tied up to 2 or 3 guys is a lot of money for a team that, like I said, our ceiling is really 5th or 4th seed right now. We do have the mid-level exception, which is $9,536,000 that we can use. We don't have a lot of money. We're over the salary cap right now. We're not into the luxury tax yet, but we just don't have a lot of options to use. We do have the biannual exception, which is $3,732,000, but I think we'll probably use the mid-level exception. That's what we used to sign Robin Lopez, who was a free agent. We signed him to $7 million. That's how we got the money to sign him. So even to sign guys like Robin Lopez, which is mid-level talent, we had to use that mid-level exception. So that's how strapped for cash we are right now. We just have the biannual exception and the mid-level exception. So I just wanted to go over some players that I think, I'm not naming big names like DeMar DeRozan, because we're gonna have to do a sign and trade to get those guys, to get guys like that, Kawhi Leonard. We don't have the money to get guys like that and bring guys like that here. So we have to do a sign and trade. But these are guys that we can just straight up sign using the mid-level exception or veteran minimums. The only things we can really use is veteran minimum contracts. Like Raul Neto, he was on a minimum contract. Anthony Gill was on a minimum contract. That's how we signed those free agents last year. We didn't really sign any big name free agents last year because we just didn't have the money. We're in the same situation. We just don't have the money because we're using the bulk of the money on Russ and Brad and Davis Bertans. We did use some money to sign Bertans, but that did put us over the cap as well. So like I said, we're in the situation where we can only sign minimum contracts and mid-level exceptions. So right now, the players that I like a lot is one player that I like that is a 3-and-D wing. We were terrible at the wing position. Didn't have a lot of 3-and-D guys. We were ranked 27th in three-point attempts. We didn't make a lot of threes. The only shooters we really have on the roster right now is Garrison Matthews and Davis Bertans. We don't have a lot of defensive-minded wings either. Rui is probably our best wing defender, and then after that, we just don't have a lot of depth at the position. Isak Bonga is a restricted free agent, but he doesn't provide much offensively, so we need guys that can do both, that can hit a three, go back, get down in the stance, and defend. We just don't have a lot of guys that are over 6'5", 6'6", or around that height that can defend and hit threes and provide something on both ends of the floor. So these are 5 or 6 guys, and I have an honorable mention as well, that I think can help out offensively and defensively. So first is Jeff Green, Uncle Jeff Green. He averaged 11 points last season for the Brooklyn Nets. Was a former Washington Wizard. Shot it really well from the three-point line. Remember the game 5, where Kevin Durant went off for 50, and James Harden was on one leg. Kyrie, of course, didn't play. He was injured, and Jeff Green stepped up. He had 8 threes in that, 7 or 8 threes in that game. He went crazy. He went bonkers, and he's still super athletic. He can still dunk on you. I remember when he dunked on Jan Mahimi in that preseason game with the Cavaliers. He had some nasty dunks for the Wizards. He played really, really well in Washington in his 1 year that he was here. And he did play with Russell Westbrook with the Rockets, and he did play with Russell Westbrook in OKC back in the day as well. So, and he shot really well from the three-point line this past year. He shot 41% from the three-point line off of almost 4 attempts per game. So that's really darn good. 41% from the three. And he can score, man. He's still got it. He can post up, he can score, he can take to the basket. So he's really athletic. He's 6'8". I mean, we all know about Uncle Jeff. Went to Northwestern High School, from the DMV, went to Georgetown. Shout out to them boys. You already know what it is. So I'd love first to sign Jeff Green. I think we can get him on a team-friendly deal using the mid-level exception. He probably wants a little bit more than the veteran minimum. So I think we probably have to use the mid-level exception. Next is Nicolas Batum, who beat the USA team yesterday with France. He is, how tall is like 6'5", 6'6", and he shot really well from the three-point line. This year, he shot about 40% from the three-point line this past year, off of 4 attempts per game. So that's pretty high volume for him. Scored 8 points per game. He was just a glue guy for the Clippers. He had some big games for them, hit a good amount of threes. He was instrumental in an important piece for them to make it to the Western Conference Finals this year. So he's a guy, he played on a minimum contract last year, but he's had some big seasons in his career. 15 points a game is his career high. And he played really well. He was a good defender for them. You know, he played well yesterday against Team USA. He can shoot the ball, provide some length. He's 6'8", 230 pounds. He still has some athleticism. He can still get off the floor pretty quickly and finish around the rim and dunk the ball. So I like Nicolas Batum. He is 32 years old, so he's on the older side, but he's really not that old. I like him a lot. Tori Craig for the Suns, who just played in the championship. He was a pivotal piece for them off the bench. He scored 5 points per game this year. So I think we could get him for a relatively cheap deal. He shot 36% from the three-point line, and he played for the Nuggets as well. So he was coached under Wes Unseld Jr. with the Nuggets. Averaged 7 points a game for the Suns when he got traded. Played really well off the bench, had a couple dunks. He provides athleticism, and he locks down too. He's a lockdown defender. He does play well defensively. Next for me is Alec Burks for the New York Knicks. Averaged 12 points per game and 2 assists and 4 rebounds. He's a scorer. He's a scoring machine off the bench. He scored 27 points in the game against the Hawks. He was probably their best scorer at times for the Knicks during the playoffs when Julius Randle wasn't playing well. Averaged 12 points a game this year. Was 41% from the three with 5 threes per game. So that's very high volume shooting the three. And he's a really athletic defender as well. For me, I like Avery. Next is Avery Bradley. I like him too, coming off the bench. Or I don't think he would start for us, but he could come off the bench. And he'll probably get a little bit more than the veteran minimum. He averaged 8 points per game this year, and then he played really well for the Lakers. He's a 2-time all-defensive player. He made the all-defensive team twice in his career. We know Avery Bradley's the lockdown defender. He can defend. He's got long arms. He's quick on his feet, has good lateral movement. He can shoot the three. He was a really good shooter for the Lakers. I remember before the bubble started and he opted out because of COVID. A lot of analysts were saying, "Oh man, the Lakers are going to miss a big piece of Avery Bradley because he did shoot the ball very, very well before the bubble, before the virus stopped the season back in 2020." So I think he can provide some defense that we need and some toughness. He's a tough guy. He's a hard-nosed, blue-collar guy. We need some more blue-collar guys on this roster. Some honorable mention is Alex Caruso. He's a young guy for the Lakers. You know, I know he doesn't score a lot, but he can shoot the ball. He's shot the ball 40% from three. He shot 40% from three this past year. So he's a 3-and-D guy. He's a defender. He's super athletic. You know, he's really good at blocking shots for a shooting guard. He can finish around the rim as well. He can put the ball on the floor a little bit. He's just a glue guy. I think he would be good off the bench. And this is money wise. This is why I'm looking at these guys. They're not pretty names. They're not sexy names. But they're guys that can come in and they would be cheap and affordable. That can help the Wizards with their rotation and just provide some type of defense. Averaged 6 points per game last year. Shot 40% from the three, shooting two threes per game. So not a lot of threes, but you know, he's a solid defender. He's super athletic. His nickname is the Bald Eagle. That is funny. He kind of is a funny looking guy. I like Alex Caruso though. Reggie Bullock, I like him. You know, he's a 41%. He shot 41% from three this past season. He was a good shooter for the Knicks. He shot 6 threes per game and shot 40% from three. So that's very high volume right there. Very high volume. He might be out of our price range of that mid-level exception. You have to pay. He would have to be under $9 million for us to afford him. $9,536,000. Honorable mention also is Sterling Brown, Shannon Brown's little brother. We know he got in some trouble, or not trouble, but yeah, he got beat up at a bar at a club, and then he got the police beat him up a couple years ago. So he's been having some rough spots off the court, but on the court for the Rockets this year, he was good, man. He shot the ball really, really well. He shot 42% from three, shooting 4 threes per game, 8 points per game for the Houston Rockets. So I think he would be really good for us. And then last but not least is Rodney Hood. Rodney Hood's had an up and down career, but he would be fairly cheap for the Washington Wizards. He's 6'8", 208 pounds. He's very skinny though and very frail, but he can score, man. He's averaged 14 points per game, 12 points a game, and 14 points a game earlier in his career. And then 2020, he averaged 11 points a game. This past year, he averaged 4 points a game, but he only played in 55 games. Just didn't play a lot for the Raptors. The Raptors didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know whether they wanted to tank or blow the team up. So it was a weird year for him. So I think we can get him for a really, really cheap veteran minimum deal. So you guys let me know what you guys think about those options. 3 and D wings. I think I'm going to do shooters next because we need some shooting really bad. Some shooters like Reggie Bullock or JJ Redick. We could get him for a veteran minimum deal. There's some Ben McLemore, and that's another guy. So I'm gonna go over those guys next and go over their numbers and see how and talk about how they would fit on the Washington Wizards and what they've done the past 2 or 3 years of their career and why they would fit. So all right, you guys let me know what you guys think. The draft is Thursday. I will be making a video when we do make a draft pick, and also I am doing Locked On Wizards. So make sure you guys subscribe to Locked On Wizards on Apple, iTunes, and wherever you can get a podcast. So I'm going to put the link down below to the Locked On Wizards link, and make sure you subscribe. We're going to try to get on YouTube as well. So if you want to see me every day talking about the Washington Wizards, I will be on Locked On Wizards every day. And we're linking up with WUSA, CBS. So I'll be on TV as well talking about Locked On Wizards. So it's a great opportunity. I'm happy that I'm taking it. We've already done some episodes already, so make sure you guys check it out. Hail to the Wizards. Peace.